Hello. There you go. Welcome. We are live here on the Blue Plate Special. I am Andy Andrews, just stuck in traffic on Canal Road where 131 pine trees are down. Sending a book to Joey Hancock, one of my favorite people who writes very cool books. So here we are, Orange Beach, Alabama, Wisdom Harbor Studios at the wharf, home of the famous. That's right. And you know what I'm talking about. A lot of people are not sure what I'm talking about when I say the world famous escalator statues, but come visit us. You'll see what I'm talking about. Hey, Gene McDonald and Chet Calhoun from Dallas, Diane Hale. I got a buddy who he and his wife out in Texas have COVID, so prayers for them right now. Lafayette, Louisiana, Martha Rigsby, hey, from Creedmoor, North Carolina, and Julian Gilly from Indiana. Do you know we have a bunch of guys who came down from Indiana this past weekend to help and are staying all week. So we're just very excited about Paul and Jolene Hostetler and a bunch of their friends. I just saw Vic Walzak fly by there. Hey Vic, how are you doing, buddy? And Patricia Clapp from North Carolina. Patricia, you're usually first on board. I'm surprised that you're down the list fourth or something like that. I'm gonna cut this phone off so it doesn't interfere with us. I started to take a picture of a growing pile of trash that is just reaching to the sky out here on Canal Road, but just didn't have time. Literally, I got stuck in traffic because they're taking these trees down, and it remains crazy around here. Hey, I like the shirt, and it's a front shirt. Okay, this is just a front shirt. This is from Sand Dollar Lifestyles. Thank you, Sand Dollar Lifestyles. They're the cornerstone of the wharf down here. Huge store. You do not want to visit the wharf without going into Sand Dollar Lifestyles. They've just got everything, from the Kamado Joe grills to t-shirts to purses to shoes, everything. So they got everything. You guys doing good? We're just kind of tired. I mean, to be honest with you. So you just finished the book, Sandy? Did you like it? I hope you liked it. And you're listening and Betty, you're listening from Barnes & Noble in Dothan, Alabama. You know, when I write about growing up, it's Dothan that I'm always kind of thinking about. Dothan is where, if you've read the Baseball Boys and Bad Words, that was Dothan. If you read Socks for Christmas, that was Dothan. And a lot of Sawyerton Springs is Dothan. So Dothan is huge to me. And have you ever eaten at a Conestoga Steakhouse in Dothan, Alabama? Because this steakhouse, I think it's my favorite steakhouse in the world. And it's funny. So, hey, B. SB is got appointments out today, so she's out and about. Is B talking to people?
I think so.
She is? Okay. So SB is talking to you as we're going. And she just said hey to me because she's not here in the studio today. But yeah, there's a steakhouse called the Conestoga Steakhouse. And the Conestoga is like a concrete block building, and they cook the steaks over like hickory logs, and they don't really have much besides steaks and salads, and the salads are kind of like, torn up lettuce, right? I mean, it's not like some $50 salad that you would get from some fancy hotel. It's like a salad, and they have homemade yeast rolls. So how about that? But the steaks are unbelievable. I mean, they're just unbelievable. And, they don't take reservations, and you line up outside. It's one of the few places I would actually line up for. But it's hilarious because when, people are talking about steakhouses, people are real fired up about the steakhouses that they love. And there are people who've traveled all over the world to do these big steakhouse things. And I'll talk to somebody occasionally. They'll say, well, in Argentina there was the steakhouse and somebody will say, well, now once we were in Brazil and there was this, and I'm like, yeah, well, there's a concrete block building in Dothan, Alabama, and it's the best one. It's Conestoga. So if you're ever through Dothan, Alabama, need to check that out. So Betty says she loves the Conestoga. Oh yeah, and I don't even want to fill up on the salad. I just bring me a steak and bring me those homemade yeast rolls. And if I hadn't filled up on the homemade yeast rolls by the time they bring the steak, I will go ahead and eat the steak too. So, Winona, you just finished Just Jones, and you're from Texas, and thank you. Thank you. Are you liking it? I hope you guys are really liking it. I'm still very excited about it. It's like, it's one of those kind of things now that the kind of promo period is over. I'll keep talking about it. Hey, there's Monica early. And how's your husband? Early. And so I have had a little rest. Hey, Chris Comer from Arkansas. Whew, dude, are you rested yet? Driving over here and then back. But Just Jones is this. I'm still excited about the book, and I really want to hear what you guys think. If you have read it and like it, please go on Amazon and review it if you like it. So, Roger Luker. Do you know Roger Luker? Roger said he's been to the Conestoga. Did you know Roger Luker is like my oldest friend in the world? Because Roger's mom, Aunt Martha, she's not really my aunt, but she's, you know how that is. We're in the South, and when you love somebody so much, she's your aunt. So Aunt Martha and my mom were best friends, and they were pregnant together with Roger and me. And I was born in May. Roger was born in June. They threw us in the baby pen together. So, Roger and I, we're each other's oldest friends. And Roger's this big business honcho living in Atlanta now. And we still keep up, and I love Raj. Let's see. Hey, Wes Hampton. Wes, I was watching you on YouTube yesterday, and Wes has one of the greatest voices. If you want to just see somebody with just a pure voice, you just look Wes Hampton on YouTube. Wes is unbelievable. And Bill Buckner. So, Bill, you just started it? Okay. I wonder, are you like, which Bill Buckner are you? So, Bill Buckner, are you the Bill Buckner that I know? Or are you a different Bill Buckner? I'm just curious. And and Marcarella just finished Just Jones as she pulled into the driveway. You know, really, we're getting to that kind of point in the book where it's like now there's not much I can do about it. And so now, if the book kind of does anything, it's up to you guys. I mean, I hate to put it on you, but if you guys can spread the word, that would be great. I think it's something that it's curious to me that I wrote that book before, before all the stuff that's going on. And, all the stuff with the peace table and the conversations about that and before we had all the social craziness that's happening. And so I think that, I think it's a book that I really think that it'll help people. And so if we can get people, hey, John McCroskey. John, let me ask you this, John. You texted me and you said, what am I doing after lunch? You like have time to eat lunch? I mean, I didn't know that you had that kind of time on your hands. Matt, do we eat lunch? Rarely. So, but anyway, give me a call after the show. John is one of the greatest business people that I know, because John is he is a huge servant in this community, and people want to do business with John McCroskey. John is the honcho of Legendary Marine up here, and people want to do business with John because he just helps. He's just a servant, he just helps people around here. And so it's, you want to buy a boat, there's your guy right there. Hey, I do have, no, wait, back that up, Matt. Who was that? Kathy Ellistone says you have your copy and just started reading and you walk 5 miles a day. And is there an audio version? Yes, there is. And I'm the one that's doing it. So I'm the one that's doing the voices and everything. And so you can get that on Audible. Any day it ought to be available with the CDs. But I haven't seen the CDs yet. But we'll find out about that. But it came out on Audible the same day that the hardcover came out. But you walk 5 miles a day? Woo! So, I guess after a week, you'd be 35 miles from home. So just be careful about that. Don't get too far away without turning around. Brenda Parnell, hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Has anybody got any questions? I do. I'm ready to answer questions about hurricanes, about the book. I did take one little video. It's 1 minute and 15 seconds. So I want to show you a video. For those of you who have read the book, Ken Grimes, who is the city manager of Orange Beach, Alabama, his house was totally he and Kelly, their house was totally messed up. And yes, this is the peace table that I'm sitting at. Alexis, it is. But I went over to Ken's house Saturday, and on the way there, I looked down this one little kind of alleyway, and it was crazy because, there's a lot of big boats here because there's a lot of, it's not necessarily rich people, it's charter boat fishermen who have these big boats, and they take people out fishing, and man, these boats, it looked like Tinker Toys in there. So 1 minute and 15 seconds. Matt, can you show that? Here we go. So what do you think about that? I mean, that's just one. That's just one of the many, many places that are messed up. I walked through a pecan orchard. I was just driving along, going from one place to another, and I looked and I could not believe how many pecan trees were down. And so I got out of the car and walked around. I'll show you that one day. But when I saw those boats and the pecan trees and over the past several years, you talk to people who are building places and building docks and building houses, and you hear people sometimes say, "Yeah, we're building this. This is like hurricane proof and blah blah blah." I'm always suspicious of hurricane proof. I never really believed that. Because if you've ever seen what one of these things does, and I always remember what Jones told me one time, because we were walking by somebody and I said, "Yeah, they're building that hurricane-proof house." He said, "Hurricane-proof, huh? Wow." Well, he said, "You always want to remember, if you play ball with Mother Nature, she bats last." I've always wanted to put that in a book, but I never forget. I mean, I never remember to put it in a book when I'm writing that. But that's one of the things he said that just amazing. It's just amazing to me, and I remember it every time I see some of this stuff. Yep, play ball, Mother Nature, she bats last. So what do they do with all the boats? A lot of them just go to the junkyard. A lot of them literally get towed in, and there was a big boat sitting right in the middle of the road on Highway 161. And when I was headed to Ken's the other day, there was a massive barge there with a crane, and they were pulling the boat off the road. And some of these boats will be repaired, but a lot of them, even like there's boats up near where we live, and they're up on the dunes, and it's lumber and stuff all around them. And so even if, even dragging them in the water, they'll hook some big winch from a barge and drag them across the land, and the bottoms are out of them. And so there's some that can be repaired. I know that John McCroskey's working with a couple that I know, beautiful boat, and it ended up in between their house and their neighbor's house, and it really just kind of floated there. So it got in between the wind, and it got some scratches and it got some damage, and it'll have to be repaired, but it's not going to go to the junkyard. But a lot of them are just going to the junkyard. So Nadine, you say you would like to see the peace table? Okay, well, we would love for you to see it. It's kind of rude, wasn't it? We're going to be opening up here very soon, and we want you to come in. We've built. This glass thing is all the way around it, and so you can see the peace table. Matt, what we need to do. Are we doing another blue plate like Thursday? I haven't even looked at my calendar to see what.
Let's see.
Let's see. What does my calendar say for?
You look open on Thursday.
I do. So let's say Thursday, okay? And we'll get some good pictures of the peace table and show you. The legs that are made of books, and I know you probably can't see the arrowheads that are right through this crack right here, but we'll get some good views and show you on Thursday. Amy asked how much of my treasures are still in my office, or are mostly all of them in the Wisdom Harbor Studios now. You know, we're moving most of them to the studios. I've had a lot of these things that have been in the closet in my office at home, because there's just not enough room to display them. And in fact, I'll show you. Can you hang on just a second? Matt, come here just a second. Just entertain the people here just for a minute. Just while I will go get something for you, Amy. All right. So Matt, just entertain them. Just tell them how much you love them. And have a good time.
Hello, everyone. I wasn't planning on being here today. I have no idea what Andy's about to get. How do you like my shirt? I think I actually got this from Andy one day when went swimming over there, and I didn't have any clothes to change into, but it says, "I survived Armageddon." I wasn't actually living down here during Hurricane Irma yet, so it's kind of funny, but let's see what he's coming back with. Nope. He forgot something. Here he comes. Here he comes. Oh, nope. Get something else. So, can't wait to show you all the table on Thursday. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Thank you, Matthew.
You're welcome.
What did you tell him? Did you tell him any secrets?
I showed off the Armageddon shirt. And
Oh, yeah.
how
Yeah.
I wasn't even here for it, so it's...
I wonder if we're going to have a shirt for Sally. I've already heard somebody saying something about, Sally and Ivan having an affair and, meeting here. Anyway, this is something, we've got all the Andy Griffith memorabilia from the show, a lot of stuff from the coaches and the teams I've worked with, and we've got there's some really cool stuff. I mean, I think that if you come and visit us in the studio, you'll spend 30 or 40 minutes just looking around, at the stuff. And but as I said, I've got some of the stuff that I've just not put out. And this, let me try to take this out of the plastic so that you can see this. But I got a hold of these years ago, and you know me, I love history that people don't know about, right? Happy birthday, Brendan Blair. I really like it's like the Heartmender. And we have all the Heartmender stuff here, the buttons, the pictures. And I'm not a hoarder. I don't think I'm a hoarder. Don't ask Polly, okay? But one of the things, this is like history that people have really just kind of don't know about, is when Dr. Seuss, when Theodore Geisel tried to get published doing children's books, he was turned down, and the publisher said, "This is ridiculous, and there's no market in this for children, and you're making up words, and these characters look ridiculous." And so for a good while, he made his living during World War II. This is he as a political cartoonist, okay? And so this is November 15th, 1941 newspaper. And Matt, I want to hold this where people can see it. Hopefully, you put this,
See if I can bring it closer to the.
put that behind it. Can you guys see that?
Might be too far. I could carry it a little closer.
Okay, carry it a little closer. But you can see,
Well, that'll probably be out of focus.
is out of focus?
Well, I can't.
Well, let me stand up there and then you focus.
All right.
How about that? All right. So, am I in the right place, Matt?
Keep it right there. All right. Yes, they can see that.
Okay. So it's a Hitler destruction machine. And so it says destroy Hitler in perfect comfort. It's got the butler and the champagne and the curious thing to me when you look at this is these are all those, you can tell it's that art that he did later. You know, it's all those same kind of characters. Let me get another one for you here.
While you do that, I will show this to the Instagram.
Show that to the Instagram people. Okay. And I actually have 4 of these. I'm just showing you 2 of them today. This is going to be, hopefully this will be in focus. But this is it where he says, Schmidt, I want you should march the 5th column a bit around hell. A lot of us may be going there one of these fine days. And what's really funny to me too is to see, you see the little dog down here? He has a Nazi collar on, Hitler's dog. But how many times did you see that dog in Dr. Seuss's drawings? But
I'll show this one too.
yeah, show that to the Instagram folks. But we've got a lot of stuff from World War II. We've got a lot of stuff from the Revolutionary War. We have Hitler. We've got Winston Churchill's whiskey decanters and stories about those. And I'm looking around. We have Hank Aaron's jersey out here that just went up, and it's signed by every guy who hit more than 500 home runs, except for the 2 that did it before World War II. So it's signed by everybody that hit more than 500 home runs except for Babe Ruth and Mel Ott. And looking around out there, there's there's literally just tons of stuff. There's a lot of my stuff from the special ops. Lot of stuff. And a lot of history stuff. So got a lot of George Washington Carver, Booker T. Washington things. And, one of the things we're going to do in the studio is I took all these pictures. We changed these things in here. And we have a huge wall out there. And so all these canvases are signed and numbered, and so people can get them if they want. What do you think about this one? This one is called Peacemaker, and this particular one is number 75, and these are signed, numbered, and we've just got a bunch of stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be fun things to see. All the books in here, I will sign all the books. So whether I'm in that day or not, the day you come, the books will be signed. But I'm going to be in here a lot, and so we hope you can come and hang out and watch us do. We'll do these blue plates. We obviously record the podcast, but we're also gearing up. There's going to be a ton of Wisdom Harbor recording going on. We're getting ready to do the audio version of Robinson Crusoe. And so when we start doing stuff like that, doing major stuff like that, we'll announce, when we're doing it and saying, okay, if you can get here in the next 4 days, we'll probably be doing Robinson Crusoe, and you come in and hang out. And of course, once we clean up around here in town, there's a lot of stuff that you can do. And yeah, the Beverly Newton says, will we have an online store? Yes, we will have. All the stuff will be available online, and all the photos and all of them are named. We took a lot of care to name these things, and so here's something curious, and then we'll get out of here. I don't want to bore you guys. In the notice of returns, people ask all the time. They say, that Jubilee thing, is that real? It's hilarious to me because I've grown up around here, and I had never seen one in person. Dang it. But I hear about them all the time. There's several a year, and so people ask about that, and so I actually have. Here's a photo. This is the only one of these that I did not take, but there's a photo of a Jubilee. Michelle, hello, watching from Zambia in Africa. And the books changed your life. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate that. If you can see, there's stingrays, flounder, crab. I don't see any shrimp in this one, but there's just different things for different Jubilees. But this one appears to have a ton of flounder and crab. So, Matt, can they see the osprey up top?
I think I could.
Or do I need to take it down?
Let's see. I can. Maybe.
Can you see that? I can take it.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go. How about that? These are fish, very, very, very close up of fish skins. Polly keeps threatening to have wallpaper made out of these. She says she just really likes these. And that is red snapper. That is mullet. This one is a mahi. The real name of it is mahi mahi. The fish so nice they named it twice. But that's a mahi. That is a bonita. And let's see, for you freshwater people, that is a bluegill right there. And this is a shell cracker. And then this is very curious to me because I got really, 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 really close on this, and that is Barracuda. I've got one that's not as close, and it shows the black spots along the top. But this is very close on the silver part, so we call this molten Cuda because it does kind of look like a melted steel or something. So, Jan Ritter, you ask what a jubilee is. Well, you need to read Notice of Returns. Matt, have you got Notice of Returns handy? Can you get me one? I'll read you one part about the jubilee, okay? And then we'll leave, all right? But this is from Notice of Returns. And I think I can find this real quickly. It's just like a page and a half. But the characters in this experience a jubilee. So I'm explaining it at this part in the book. And if you don't know what a jubilee is, it's one of the most fascinating things. Let me get my glasses so that I'm not totally blind. There are very few things in the world today that, if somebody's rich, that they can't do, right? I mean, there are very few things left in the world that somebody can't just buy their way into. I mean, you want to meet the President of the United States, you got enough money, you can do it tomorrow. You want to go to the Super Bowl? You want to sit on the bench with the players? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's just so it's very curious when there is something that can't be bought. I think that's pretty neat. All right, so we're getting toward the end of the book now, so it's not giving anything away, but I will read you just the explanation about the Jubilee. Matt, are people just like leaving like crazy?
No.
All right. Well, where is this? If anybody knows, if you can find it before I can find it. I would appreciate it. I think it's earlier than I thought, because I think it's when Polly and I are standing at the Grand Hotel. By the way, if you're down this way, the first Noticer book was set in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, and the second, the Noticer Returns, was set in Fairhope for the most part. And the number one hotel in Alabama is in Point Clear, the Fairhope, and it's called the Grand Hotel. And that is one of the areas that it's like kind of at the end of the area that there is the Jubilees happen. Man, I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry this is taking so long. But so now are people like falling off of here like crazy?
I would be.
Hey, dear. Hey, come here. Polly is here. Polly said that she would be falling out of here like crazy. I just found it. Come here. They can't see you. Head here.
Maybe that's a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing. Just sit right. This is my sweet Polly.
Hello.
So, somebody was asking like what a jubilee is. So I'm just reading. I'm going to read this page and a half.
There was one just.
Chapter 9. Someone said Chapter 9, Andy.
Thank you, Matt. I already found it now.
There was one just before the hurricane, like a week or so before the hurricane.
That's true. There was one right before the hurricane. How about that? Dear, you gonna be here for a little bit?
I'm not. I'm running errands.
No, stay. I'm not. We're almost through. They're all gonna make
They're
me.
waiting for you to read that.
I know. They're waiting for you to read that and then get off the air. Okay, so at this point, Polly and I are at the Grand Hotel, and we're just kind of talking, all right? And so then I'm going to explain it. All right, here we go. Polly looked away from the pier and to the west, toward the water's edge past the marina. Shielding her eyes from the sun, she said, "Wouldn't you give anything to see a jubilee?" "Yes," I said, now shading my eyes and looking in the same direction. "Well, almost anything. I've heard about them all my life. And remember, a long time ago, I talked to that guy who found one and was right in the middle of it for over an hour. What made you think of a jubilee?" Polly turned away from the sun and shrugged. "I don't know. I think about jubilees every time we come over here, don't you?" Nodding slowly, I considered the question and agreed. You know, it never really occurred to me that I did, but now that you mention it, I guess I do. "Yeah," I said, nodding again, "I do. I give at least a passing thought to the possibility of a jubilee every time I'm on the eastern shore. Polly and I aren't the only ones who think about it. In the Baldwin County area of Alabama, one needs only to toss the topic of a jubilee into any conversation in order to spend the next several hours listening to stories about the phenomenon. A typical jubilee, there might be 2, sometimes 3 occurrences per year, will deliver flounder, shrimp, and crab by the tons to some random segment of a small but precise piece of coastline on the eastern shore. The entire expanse in which every one of these events have occurred for hundreds of years is bounded by Point Clear at the southern edge and just above Daphne to the north. Totaling a mere 15 miles, it is the only place in the world where this happens regularly. A jubilee materializes unannounced, usually between 3 and 5 a.m., and without warning of any kind. After centuries of these annual events, jubilees are now known to be the result of salinity stratification, a layering effect of the heavier, saltier water from the Gulf of Mexico to the south, overlain by the lighter freshwater swept into the bay by rivers from the north. This causes an upwelling of oxygen-poor water that pushes crustaceans and bottom fish to the shore by the tens of thousands. The sea creatures are seemingly stunned and unable to swim. They lie quietly in the shallowest of water, surrounded by vast numbers of their own kind, until, at last, the tide shifts and the jubilee is over. At that time, they wake up, no worse for the experience, and swim back into deep water. But there is a window, maybe an hour or 90 minutes, when all the shrimp, crab, and flounder that can be hauled away are easily gathered by anyone lucky enough to be there at that perfect point in time. Luck. It does seem to be the only common denominator between those relatively few people who have been fortunate enough to witness what is surely one of nature's most puzzling and utterly obscure spectacles. Consider the odd fact that in the entire world there is no other natural display that can be compared to this bizarre, recurring, but irregular event. While today we exist in an era when nothing seems inconceivable, when every material experience appears to be obtainable, even now, no one can reserve the opportunity to see a jubilee. There is no ticket one can buy, no favor that can gain admission. Neither wealth nor fame, scientific research nor mathematical equation, physical sacrifice nor the intervention of federal government can produce a single shred of hope that one might be able to schedule the date or hour and plan to attend an upcoming jubilee, for they have proven impossible to predict and always take place in the dead of night. Tales and records of jubilees have been passed along for generations as a colorful part of the Eastern Shore's history that predates the region's European settlement. First identified and mapped by Spanish explorers, this natural harbor, known for its unusual bounty, was originally called Bahia del Espírito Santo, the Bay of the Holy Spirit. It is still an apt name for a body of water that regularly produces miracles. And I've never seen one. I want so bad to see one. I worked in a bait shop one time and had a guy come in, and he had just been at one. I opened it up at 5:30 in the morning, and he came in and said, "Man, I was going along scenic highway and I saw somebody cross the road with a flashlight at 3:30 in the morning. Then I saw somebody else cross the road with a flashlight, and I thought, And he went down there, and the flounder and the crabs, they're stunned, but you can't just like pick them up. They can move a little bit, and so they gig them, right? And so this guy didn't have anything to gig them with, so he went and got a tire tool out of his trunk, was gigging flounder with a tire tool. And so anyway, people, ever since I wrote that, people have asked, because there's a scene later in the book about it happening. And people have asked ever since I wrote that, it's like, did you make that up? Nope. How about that? Hey, thank you guys for being with us, and we'll see you Thursday. We'll show you the peace table Thursday. We'll get some camera shots where you can see. We'll set it up where you can see it all and see it up close, and can't wait till you can actually visit us here. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye bye.